Good morning, fellow nurses. Good morning, Nigerians. This is Smart Mado Ajaja on the Nightingale radio station, broadcasting from Houston, Texas, United States of America. We are once again on the special program, the historic program, Nurses Arise. It's been such a great weekend here, and I know it is morning in Nigeria, 6 a.m. precisely. Our program runs between 6 and 6:30 a.m. and a repeat between 6 and 6:30 p.m. every Monday. Please tune in and encourage others to share with your colleagues and every Nigerian who wants to know the truth about the latest development happening in nursing and some other Nigerian issues that we cannot shy away from. On this radio station, the Nightingale radio station, especially on the Nurses Arise program, we talk about contemporary Nigerian issues. We talk about our profession, the nursing profession, what has been happening to the profession for a very long time that people do not know. We are beginning to see the reason why the growth of the profession has been stunted for such a long time. And we are working so hard and working diligently to look for a way forward so that our nurses will not continue to be treated as slaves. We are the hardest working members of the healthcare delivery system in Nigeria, and I think we deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. Nurses are not second-handed professionals. We are full professionals in our own right, and we must be accorded that professional recognition that we deserve. It bleeds me to hear about the violence taking place against Nigerian nurses in Nigeria, and with nobody doing anything, including those who are elected or appointed to represent and defend and protect the interest of nurses in Nigeria. You're going to be listening to a very strong commentary about what is taking place, especially with reference to the raging violence that is increasing on a daily basis. We did this episode last week, and with all that is taking place, new reports coming in from all angles about the abuse of nurses by medical doctors, by patients, and by patient relatives, I decided that we'll do a more detailed graphics about what is taking place. And so we can look for ways of putting an end to this, where the authorities are not showing any interest in defending us. We should not be afraid. We should not be scared of going back to the hospital environment to work, because that is what we do best. We must be protected to do our work. Yes, the moment has come for things to happen.
Hey, my name is Smart Mado Ajaja. I am a registered nurse and the presenter of the Nurses Arise program on the Nightingale radio station. dedicating this special edition to Nigerian nurses who have become subjects of wanton violent attacks in Nigeria's clinical environment. Isn't it sad that nurses who are advocates and defenders of patients' rights in the hospitals have become victims of this type of attacks coming from doctors, patients, and patient relatives? Why would any sane doctor, any patients, or patient relatives wake up to go to the hospital with the intention of assaulting those who collaborate or advance for their causes in the hospital environment? Nigeria has become an insane country. So nurses will have to go to work now, worried about their safety in an environment that is supposed to be secure. This is sad. This is sad for a country. In this whole thing, I've not heard any official statement issued by the Nursing and Midwifery Council or the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives. So I wonder why these two bodies exist. Whose interests do they represent in Nigeria? I worked as a nurse for so many years before I left Nigeria for South Africa and then later on to the United States. I have not heard about this type of assault on nurses. The frequency is becoming worrisome, and that the authority must do something now, because if we begin to record fatalities against nurses in a supposed secure and safe environment, that is ominous for the present and future of our country. And this is a signal that something is seriously wrong with Nigeria on all fronts. The country is at the verge of a total collapse, and the people are watching idly, doing nothing. You know, the funny thing is that these attacks are not investigated and nobody is held accountable. What happened in Kwara State, I think in Ilorin, when a nurse was beaten by a patient relative into coma, leaves much to be desired about the sorry state of our country. When it gets to that point where nurses can no longer feel safe to go to work, the nation must be prepared for mass burial of its people. The worst thing that can happen to a nation is to have a demography of nurses with no morale or motivation to work. It is dangerous. The consequences are better imagined. Nigeria, you are sitting on a keg of gunpowder on all fronts. And the last place the dysfunction of Nigeria should spread to is the hospital environment. It won't be nice. I call on the National Association of Nurses and Midwives and the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria to swing into action to curb this violence without further delay. You are paid salaries off of the dues collected from nurses. You must be seen and you must stand up for them to represent them. Something is very wrong, and the young generation of nurses are suffering. They are complaining so bitterly about these two agencies, now National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, and then Nursing and Midwives. Do we need to overemphasize the fact that Nigeria has failed in every area? The first constitutional responsibility of any government is to protect its citizens and their properties. In the hospital environment, safety and security are no longer guaranteed. I wonder even if they even have security men who should prevent all these attacks from taking place in the first place. Nigerians are unsafe on the streets. They are unsafe in their homes. They are unsafe at work. They are unsafe at the hospitals. Where is Nigeria going? This is sad, and we have governments at all levels that are not doing anything but looting treasuries and showing off their litany of wives on the floor, like the one who showed his wives, 4 wives, on the floor of the Senate, and expect Nigerians to be celebrating him as a macho man. This is how bad, this is how ugly it can get. Why can't we start doing the right things? Why have we grown so barbaric? Why have we become lovers of violence? Why has our country become a country of blood and evil? Why has our country become a country of darkness, corruption, poverty, and ignorance? Why has our country grown so squalid in the midst of plenty? Why are our people starving to death in the abundance of food? Why has our hospitals not improved beyond what the colonial masters left behind? The reasons are not far-fetched, and one major one is leadership. Nigeria has tragically failed in all areas because of its series of tragically failed leadership. And this is why we must start introspecting again before 2023. I pray to God that there will be 2023 in Nigeria with the way things are going, and with the authorities, those who should do something, looking away as if what is taking place in Nigeria is normal. Nigeria is a sad country right now. My dear nurses, as attacks on you increases, I would love to let you know that you have rights to self-defense. Self-defense is a universal doctrine. Don't allow yourselves to be turned into punch bags by anybody. If you can avoid it, do everything you can to avoid it. But where you are caught in the middle of it, you must learn to fight yourself out of it. Nurses, you must understand that you are collaborators in the healthcare delivery system in Nigeria, but not slaves to any group of healthcare professionals in Nigeria's healthcare delivery system. You are the pivot. Everything revolves around you. You must stop taking responsibilities for the failures of the other members of the healthcare delivery team. You are not slaves, and you must not be subservient to doctors. Beyond being good collaborators with them and other healthcare delivery team members, there is a difference between a medical doctor and a professional nurse. Our training curriculum is not the same with theirs. They are trained as doctors, and we are trained as nursing professionals. You are not by any means a junior partner to doctors and other members of the healthcare delivery team, but you must exercise the highest level of professionalism in the discharge of your duty to the patients, which are the reason we are all in the hospital environment. Nurses are not out there to compete for supremacy with the medical doctors or pharmacists or laboratory scientists or social workers. We are equal partners, and we contribute our quota to the healthcare delivery system. So any person who makes you think or who wants to make you believe that you are a junior partner to them is a liar. You must understand the limits of your profession and always act within those limits. No doctor has the right to give you query except you are working in his private clinic. No doctor has the right to give you instructions that you know are out of his jurisdiction as a medical doctor. Nurses take directives from the nursing leadership in the hospital. So you must not go out there to start performing the functions that are not professionally aligned to you. You must not try to be the medical doctor, because the doctors cannot be nurses. even if some of them want to be everything. Don't allow yourselves to be turned into punch bags by any doctor or any other member of the healthcare delivery team. When they do that, they are violating you, and you have a right to self-defense. You have a right to take an action. You have a right, if it is a violent attack, to involve the police. You don't have to go through the hospital's administration. You don't have to listen to any chief nursing officer or nursing director if you are violently assaulted. That is a personal choice, and that is a personal decision that you and only you can make. Don't allow anyone talk you into not taking action in situations where you are violently assaulted. Be firm, be kind, be open, and be professional. In conclusion, may I express my dismay over the attitude of the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives and the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria for their insensitivity to the plight of the Nigerian nurse. I have taken my time to listen and to read through volumes about what is coming out of the Nigerian nurses. Sadly, I have not stumbled on any official position against the abuse of nurses by these two bodies. And guess what? Their salaries are paid off of the dues collected automatically from the salaries of the struggling and abuse-prone nurses of Nigeria. I wonder why, therefore, they occupy their positions pretending to represent the interest of nurses. I think something has to be done. Obviously, there's a crisis of leadership that is holding the profession down in Nigeria, and this is unacceptable.
Yes, that is my commentary on the state of nursing, with special reference to the abusive situations that Nigerian nurses go through every day. They find themselves either at government hospitals or in government hospital or in the private settings. This has to end, and really end soon. I have made quite a few attempts to reach the president of the National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives. This morning I sent him a text message after I called him, and I guess he was praying. And he got back to me with a message that they are looking to get him back with me. I hope he does that soon. So we can get something going, because the abuse of nurses is an abuse to the whole of Nigeria and the Nigerians that come under their care every day. If not for nurses, hospitals will be closed. So when a nation decides to look the other way when her nurses are being abused. Terrible things happen. You don't want to have nurses with low morale working in your healthcare delivery system, because that is massive, massive, massive exposure of our innocent people to potentials for fatalities. Nigeria has demonstrated an immense unseriousness with the way they handle everything, and this is yet another one. It is so sad. But I hope you nurses, you heard me. You are not to be subservient to anybody. But you must know your onions. You must know what you do when you go to that work every day. You must not be the trolley pushing nurse every second. You must not be the yes doctor nurse. You must be an intelligent nurse. So some of you who don't read, you got to start reading. Some of you who need to go back to school, you need to go back to school to brush yourselves up, because things have changed. We are in the 21st century, and the world is not waiting for us. A lot of things are happening. And now you tell me why Nigerian nurses are working hard to leave their country in droves. It is so sad that our country cannot hold down their nurses. Thousands of Nigerian nurses have left the shores of Nigeria because of this type of behavior. Now, I read to you what I had sent to the president of NAN. Hello, sir. How are you? This is Smart Mado Ajaja, a US-based registered nurse and the presenter of the Nurses Arise program on the Nightingale radio station. I have tried to reach you on 2 occasions in the recent past, including the call I just made a few minutes ago, without being able to get hold of you. I'm aware that you are the national president or chairman, and as such, have wanted and still want to discuss the state of the nursing profession and the plights of nurses in Nigeria today, with special reference to the increasing space of violence against nurses in Nigeria. The nurses are complaining bitterly that they are not hearing or seeing any reactions from the executive under your leadership. Please, sir, I would love to know when your busy schedule would permit you to talk to the Nigerian nurses about your stewardship and your plans to address serious issues like the raging violence against nurses and quack nursing. I look forward to hearing from you, sir. Now, he responded a few minutes later. Thank you for your effort to get across to us in now. I will reach across to you. Thank you. Then I responded again, great. I look forward to hearing from you. My plan is to interview you live on the Nurses Arise program so that the Nigerian nurses community can hear directly from you in your own words. It ends there. And I'm looking forward to hearing from him, because we cannot continue to shy away, from all this. During the week, I got another report about another attack on a nurse somewhere in Lagos, and then I saw the account the nurse gave. She was attacked by a ward orderly who has been demonstrating series of obstinacy to her. And the hospital administration, that's the owner of the hospital, did absolutely nothing and called it too fighting. I think she got involved, they got the police involved, but unfortunately, no arrest was made for such a violent attack. That nurse needs the help of the Nigerian nurses to prosecute this case. And you know what? The doctor who owns that hospital is owing her salaries that he has refused to pay. This is the sad story of the Nigerian nurse today. How long are we going to continue to, work on eggshell. We work hardest, but we are treated worse. I don't think any nurse who works as hard as Nigerian nurses do deserves to be treated with disrespect and indignation. The end of all this has to come, and it cannot come without our commitment to working together to make things happen. I won't say much about NAM for now. I won't say much about the Nursing and Midwifery Council for now until I get hold of their key officials to talk to so they can tell us why our nurses are being abused indiscriminately by doctors, by patients, and by patients' relatives. The situation has gotten intolerable. It's objectionable and unacceptable. We are not going to continue to do this way. Nurses, it's time for you to rise up and take your stance again. Whatever it is, if it is fear, because I'm aware that some of these officials send you threats. You should not be afraid of anybody because you have basic human rights that God gave to you and gave to everybody. Nobody has right to assert or try to remove those rights from you. They are basic, they are spiritual, they are yours, they are sacrosanct, and they make you sovereign. Know this now. We'll be talking about rights as time goes on. But I want the nurses of Nigeria. I know there are a lot of divisions among you. I hear there are some who say they are graduate nurses, they form their own organization. There are all these other organizations. You are a nurse. Any nurse who went through any organized school of nursing is a graduate. Is there any need for us to improve? Yes, definitely. If you want to improve, upgrade, this is the time to do it. But we must not be discriminating against ourselves, because this is the entrance those who don't want us to move forward look for, and they capitalize on it to deal us these deadly blows that we are suffering now. Please, nurses, get up, stand up, get up, stand up, come together. We have the number. We can decide a lot in Nigeria if we can come together. We can make so many things happen. We can definitely end this abuse. We can end quackery in nursing. It takes leadership and it takes good followership. It takes commitment from all nurses. And I are seeing it happening because I see some fire from among the younger generation of nurses. All they are looking for now is the leadership that will take them away from Egypt to their promised land. Let us go. I'm ready to work with you guys. I'm ready to do all I can using my voice to bring about change. And I am so happy to hear that there are elected members. I heard that there is a senator who is a nurse now. Whoever has the number of this young man should please send it to me. I want to talk to him. I want to talk to the other one in the House of Representatives. We must rally ourselves around them. And I want to know how they relate with you nurses. Are they behaving like the ones before them who, when they get into political offices, forget their roots? We want to know all this. I hope they won't be that. And I'm very optimistic. I look forward to meeting them so we can come together and design a new way forward for the nursing profession. Yeah, indeed. We've got so much things to say right now. So much is taking place in our profession, and so much is taking place in Nigeria that has gotten so dysfunctional, where people live in fear, people are worried about their safety and security, people are hungry in the midst of abundance, people are thirsty with so much water to drink, people are losing it because of our country's tragic failure of leadership. We must do something now, and it begins with you and I. Somebody told me that nurses should not play politics. Excuse me. This moment calls for more nurses to get involved in politics. And I hear, sadly, that some nurses, majority of nurses don't have voters registration card. Are you serious? If you cannot vote, then you have no right to question those who are misleading you. So please, if you are a registered nurse, a student nurse, you must, or you don't have a voters registration card as we speak, please scurry, hurry, and go and get one, because it's a huge weapon. Votes will start counting in Nigeria. That is why some of us are getting involved. We must get involved with politics. You see, what is happening to nursing is high-powered politics. Decisions about your profession are being made with none of you in the know. You think a medical doctor will advocate for you in your absence, leaving his own profession? We have the numerical strength to decide actually who becomes the president of Nigeria if we can come together. We have the numerical strength to decide who becomes a governor if we are organized. We have the numerical strength to become who becomes the senator of any state if we are organized. Ask me how. We are everywhere. We are in antenatal clinics. We are in mental health clinics giving health talks. These people look up to us, to leadership. And if we conscientiously and honestly tell them the direction our country wants to go, they will follow. So we don't know how powerful we are as nurses. We are just satisfied with giving medications, giving injections, and going home. No, nursing has gone beyond that. Let us wake up and get going. Hey, it's been such a wonderful time, even if I'm not happy with what is taking place in Nigeria. I am happy that I'm able to unload what I have on my mind for the good of nursing and for the good of nurses, and most importantly for the good of Nigeria. We'll be seeing you again next Monday. Same station, Nightingale Radio Station, broadcasting from Houston, Texas, United States of America. Smart Ajaja on the Nurses Arise program. We broadcast every Monday between 6 and 6:30 a.m. and a repeat at 6 and 6:30 p.m. Please tune in. If you don't have the app, go to the Google App Store, download the app, share it with all nurses, and in fact with all Nigerians, because we are going to be talking a lot more than about what is happening in the nursing profession. We're going to take on Nigeria, to challenge Nigeria and demand for our promissory note. To choose, we need to start learning how to choose the right leadership. Everything about Nigeria's failure is the result of tragic failure of leadership. We cannot continue that way. Yes, every man has got the right to decide his own destiny. Nurses Your destiny is in your hands. It's not in the hands of anybody. If we can come together, we can move those mountains that we think are insurmountable. No mountain is too mighty for us to move if we decide that we have to move it. Yes, we are patriots. We love Nigeria. We speak Nigeria. We bleed Nigeria. We defend Nigeria. And we will continue to uphold our citizenship of Nigeria. From me to you. See you next Monday to continue discussions on what we have just talked about, the abuse of nurses in the Nigeria's clinical environment. Please join me on Twitter every day, every minute at Smart Ajaja, on Instagram at Smart Ajaja for Senate, on YouTube at Smart Mado Ajaja, on LinkedIn at Smart Mado Ajaja. God bless you all and God bless Nigeria.